So, as many of you who have watched the channel lately may have noticed, I've been playing a lot of Sonic Frontiers. There's only 2 videos and 3 streams, but I completed the game, both endings off stream, because just it's a fun game. And ever since I was a kid, I've always liked Sonic because it's fast, and I like being able to play games where I can go fast. Let me just get away from him real quick. But while playing the Final Horizons DLC, I noticed some pretty cool things with the spin dash move, right? And I just thought I'd show them here. There's a few other tricks I've seen, and I'll showcase them here as well. This is just a video about all the kind of weird things I've noticed, and weird interactions I've seen with some of the moves in this game. So, to start off, if you look at this now, Amy in her glide has very, very strong conserve. She conserves energy and speed very, very well, right? So any speed you get from a spin dash, you can carry over into a glide. Now, some of you might be thinking, this isn't really useful, but let me show you why it can be useful. And I'm gonna put a cut right here to when I get to where I'm going, because you don't want to just see this the whole way. This is actually a good example, so I might keep this part in. You can use Amy and her glide to skip massive amounts of the map. Massive amounts of the map. And some of you might be a bit like, oh, but like, why would you do that? Save time, really, would be the main reason I'm doing it. And also because I just like going fast. And Amy is one of the best characters from the DLC, kind of surprising, because she's never been a really well characterized, hero, right? She's always been like damsel in distress, and I think what Frontiers did with her was amazing, where they made her her own person, right? She's not just the girl obsessed with the main hero. They've given her development and an actual character, which is amazing for the future of the series. Giving everyone that's just kind of, oh, they're here to support Sonic, they don't really do anything. Better characterization. And I think they've done amazingly for Amy and especially Tails, because Tails has always been just a dude that follows Sonic around. He never really did his own thing. Except for Lost World, where he was kidnapped and forced to do his own thing. And he saved the day, right? But in Frontiers, making him his own person and having his own goals and wanting to still become a hero, right? But his own hero, not so much, oh, I follow Sonic around, but, sticking with Sonic, I'm never going to see my true potential, which may lead to a Tails game, but you never know, right? But the main thing is with Amy, right? Her magic cards, which I actually think are a good aspect of her character to bring out. You saw it in 06 where she can go invisible. And, magic is always cool. But with her card glide, you can do so much stuff, because any speed you get before it transfers over. And the drop on this, at least compared to a Knuckles glide, is very, very low. So, crossing an island that would have taken you maybe good 5-10 minutes before, you can get done in a couple of minutes just with Amy's glide. And they did a lot of innovation with the characters here. They made a lot of new things for them. Like with Tails, they kind of take advantage of him being the gadget guy and use that to their advantage, which is always a very good thing. But especially with this game, they brought it out. The only problem I have with any of the characters is Tails not having a homing attack. Just makes him more of a nuisance than a hassle to play. than an actual enjoyable character. Like, I enjoy him as a character, right? And there is some cool things that he can do that the others can't, right? But it just doesn't make sense to me how the one that's with Sonic, and like, I get if you were just like, Hedgehogs are the only ones that should have it. But then Knuckles has a homing attack, and it's just Tails, which kind of draws away from me wanting to play him, because, you know, why would I go for someone who kind of has a bit of janky controls, doesn't really have any offense unless you upgrade him, and you'd have to upgrade him a bit. But, you know, there's some good movement potential, so to speak. And there was a few things I realized while playing through his sections of the Final Horizons part of the game, when it was his turn to get a Chaos Emerald. I noticed that he could do a few cool things with his fight because of the way it functions. But I found that even though I liked Tails as a character, right, he was just such a bore to play when it came to getting the Emerald. Because he had no offense or defense. He kind of flew around. And while I do like, you know, having your character focused on moving about well and differently, it's just kind of not even having a homing attack just takes away from his section so much, because they bring in parts where you need, or at least want a homing attack for the ease of, you know, getting past the part, right? And they just kind of screwed him over by just giving him nothing. Like, he could have pulled out a gun and shot, like, or, you know, had a grapple or something. But aside from that, the Final Horizons DLC is amazing, right? And I wouldn't really change much else. Just think they could have characterized Tails a bit better in how he plays and everything. You know, he's a bit of a genius, so like, why wouldn't he be able to find some way to fight people from a range? But otherwise, they did pretty well by him. This is just to show you guys something, right? Like, look, Knuckles, he can do the same thing as Amy with the glide, right? But his drops off way faster. Like with Amy, I could probably go to the other side of this, it just hasn't rendered, and come back, right? With Knuckles, he just he drops a bit early. Yeah, like, look, you don't get the full way, which is alright. Other than that, he doesn't really have much. You know, you got the, whatever these flames are called. I've only kept up with the kind of newer Sonic games because they came out when I was young, and I'm broke, so I can't afford to be buying all the Sonic games. And then, you know, Sonic Adventure 2, anything before, I believe it was Forces, isn't on PS5, unfortunately. Hopefully they add them eventually. You have Sonic Colors Ultimate, and obviously you have Sonic X Shadow Generations and Forces, or Frontiers there. But no Unleashed, no original Generations, no original Colors, no Sonic Adventure 2. Which kind of makes sense, but like, they could have kept it. And for the last character that I'm going to show you things with, because everyone already knows about Sonic. It's Tails, right? And his is a lot easier to show, because you don't really need anything to start. Like, look at that. This is my problem with Tails, right? It gives him the reticle, but I press square, he throws a ranged, and that was a skill you have to earn. Now, he has the playing, which is very cool and all, but like, I don't understand why he needs it. They could have just worked with his, you know, the reason he has his nickname, his Tails, right? But that kind of moves me on to the point, right, that I'm trying to make. Tails is a very good character for kind of getting to weird places. Because as you saw there, when you start his glide, right? He does this kind of, he stays in the air and then goes up a bit, right? And now what you can do with that, right? Is if you go here and you start gliding, you can gain height on your way somewhere. And I use it to skip a bit of his part of the story, right? Because I'll try and represent it over here. It wasn't like a really long skip, but what sort of happened was there was a bit that was above me, like this, sort of like what I'm pointing at right now, right? So what I did was I went here, and I just, yeah, I jumped off, and I used the fact that he goes up a bit when he starts his flight to my advantage. And that's really all the tricks that I've known. You know, there's probably a lot more that I haven't shown and that you might know, so comment any cool tricks you might know that you think might be useful, because you never know who'll find them useful or who will see this video. But these are just some cool things I noticed that I wanted to share with you guys. This will probably be the last Sonic video unless I get another Sonic game and start playing through that, but there is just nothing really to say much more of, I suppose. I mean, I could do a video on the music, but that's just not the kind of video I'd make. You know, the Sonic Frontiers is beautiful, or gorgeous, or whatever I have it titled at the time you're seeing this video. It was titled that because I appreciate how games look sometimes, right? Obviously, I always prefer performance, but this was the first game in a very long time where I didn't play performance mode. I played with graphics mode on, right? And even with performance priority, this game looks amazing. It just, for the sake of playing and the way it looks while playing, performance mode is a lot better, but I actually didn't mind the game looking a bit worse. Or sorry, the game feeling a tiny bit worse. To be able to just see the beauty of this game. But this is probably going to be the last video on Sonic Frontiers, unless I do a replay through, if anyone's interested in that. Or if you have any kind of video ideas you think would do well, or you think I would do a good job of, you know, I'd appreciate if you just comment them. But that is all for this video. It's probably going to be cut a lot less than a normal video, but I hope you all enjoyed.